Hey, beautiful people. It's your girl, Rocqi, from the It's So Real podcast. And today on Rocky's Reactions, I will be reacting to another mediocre tutorials and reviews video. This one is called Relationships Fail Because Modern Men Don't Do Enough for Modern Women. Ooh, it's gonna get spicy. And this one is just, what is his name?
MTR.
MTR? Okay, this is just him. He doesn't have a guest. So I prefer when it's just him because he be spitting. I don't agree with all of the things that he says, but he be saying some truths a lot of the time. So we'll see what he has to say about this and what he's reacting to. Oh, the other part of the title is the new Derek Jackson. So y'all know everybody been talking about Derek Jackson. So we'll see what he's reviewing, what he's talking about. I'm interested. Remember to check out our previous Rocky's Reactions where I was reacting to mediocre tutorials and reviews. There's no reason for men to get married. So make sure you check that out. We do have a playlist on our YouTube channel called Rocky's Reactions. So you can go there for all of my reactions. It's different than the content we do for our podcast episode, but make sure you check that out. And of course, remember to subscribe and press that notification bell so you know when we're going live. But thank you for anyone who joins along the way, and let's get this show started.
What up, YouTube? I am your host, mediocre tutorial reviews and reviews. Back in here with one more video.
I love his intro.
Shout out to my Instagram. That's where this video was just sent to me. At mediocre tutorials and reviews. It's long, but you know how to spell. If you don't, link down in the description box down below.
Yes, I will provide the link to this video that I'm reacting to in the description below.
I found another panderer. And then
Panderer.
So, we must get active. Title of the video, my problem with the phrase, the modern woman can't keep a man. Without further ado,
the phrase is, the modern woman don't know how to keep a man. First of all, most relationships end because the woman leaves.
Sure.
How are you going to say a woman can't keep a man if it's the woman that decides to end the relationship? If anything, modern men don't know how to keep a woman.
okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
First off, listen, I'm getting Jackson vibes right now. So, we'll go off into the reaction real quick. Let me tell you guys something. From my perspective, it's really hard when you come across these videos and they speak in these large generalities. Hopefully he gets into specific examples to let me know exactly what it is that he's talking about. Now, from a marriage perspective, let me just say this real quick, is that what I think actually happens, and there's a multitude of reasons that lead to divorce, but when you're considering someone who, by and large and in mass, is the breadwinner, right? The person who is not the breadwinner is not as incentivized to keep it together, okay?
It's cheaper to keep her. That's what my daddy said. It's cheaper to keep her.
Way too specific, but let's get down into what the brother's saying.
And this is where we're at in this society. What happens is, we tend to blame women for everything. Even leaving an unhealthy, toxic, or unsatisfactory relationship.
No one blames women for leaving a terrible relationship. What are you talking about? If it's terrible, then yeah, leave. No one has ever said that since the history of ever.
Pause up. This might be in the culture of womanhood. There's two kind of viewpoints that I see. A lot of people a lot of women are quick, especially millennial generation, are quick to be like, leave him, forget him, you don't need him, you can get another man, all that. I think older generations expect us to stay, and I think some of that pressure is felt, especially if you're married, where it's just like excuses for the man's behavior. So I see those two viewpoints of that conversation. But go ahead and play it with me.
Viewers hear something like that. Yes, boo boo and honey child. Whoops. Yes, boo boo. You're right. They hated me so much. They just didn't understand the pain that I was going through. They just didn't understand. I am a modern woman. I shouldn't take any of this shit because I amount to so much more. Meanwhile, she's a 4.
Somehow it's her fault. Somehow she's less than a woman because she can't keep a man even though she didn't want to keep him. How can you tell and say, well, you don't know how to keep a man when she decides she doesn't want him anymore? That's the difference. And I think we need to put more onus on men because what has happened since the 1950s and 60s is an adjustment that needed to be made by both sexes. But what hasn't happened is the adjustment for men.
I just can't get. And so, and the more that I do videos like this, the more I'm starting to understand how these content creators get so popping with women.
Controversy.
They just say anything that they want to appeal to the emotional complex of women, right? Like, because I feel like dudes who generally try to look at things outside of the box with a much more logical approach, right? Like, dudes can't generally create content and talk like he's talking. They generally cannot do that. They generally can't. And a large majority and reason for that is because we like to pick shit apart, right? Now, it's not to say that there's no content creators over on this side of YouTube that appeals to the emotional well-being of a lot of dudes, but he's setting up all of these very false straw man arguments. Like, no one is saying or blaming women for leaving bad relationships, bad toxic relationships. What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with anything? It's at the basis of this, it sets up these very disingenuous arguments that no one is saying, but it appeals to the emotions of the listener, who makes it feel like it is their situation, and they're so good at it.
Pause it.
We had.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. Not MTR, but the guy he's reviewing.
Oh, fake ass Derek Jackson.
So that was so sorry. Yeah. Okay, so at one point the guy said a modern man can't. I don't know. I got lost in there, y'all. It wasn't making sense. Cause he switched it midway, and yeah, I don't know. But in terms of a modern woman can't keep a man, which is the title of the video that MTR is reviewing, the concept of keeping a man, like, that is something that has been passed down through generations, as if women had the ability to. As in, men were within our possession and control that could be kept, that women would have to sacrifice pieces of themselves in order to keep a man. Also considering the scarcity mentality of love, of monogamy. Just we need to let that concept go, keeping anybody. One, can't nobody kept that don't want to be kept, okay? If you want to leave, there's nothing on earth that somebody else can do to stop you, if that's your decision, okay? So women need to let that go. But yeah, this guy lost me. We'll see what else he got to say, but I'm lost as of right now.
Men still expecting the same type of woman, the same type of relationship expectations as the 1960s and 50s, when it's not the same type of lifestyle. It's not. So there's adjustments that need to be made.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know how that's relating.
Men back then and men today expect feminine, fit, cooperative, and a bunch of other things. Low body count, attractive. Men are not expecting anything different today. So what is it that you are talking about?
Understand something. Your woman would love to, well, not love, but in theory, most women would love to be at home and not have to pay a bill, not have to worry about contributing to family vacations, not worrying about how to fix a car, not worried about how to handle things that come up. Most women would absolutely love that. Absolutely love that.
Wouldn't that be?
But that's not the reality for most women. We got 1,000 women that is watching right now. Ladies, comment below.
Hello,
How many of you
viewer.
guys
Thanks for
have ever been in a
joining.
relationship where you didn't have to contribute
I'm
at all
reacting.
to the situation? How many women have been in that situation? Not many.
But here's the thing, right? So, I hear his point too. What he's saying is that through inflation, much more relationships today need to have two incomes in order to sustain this thing in the world, right? And I get that point, right? Like back in the day, you know what I'm saying? You could be able to work at a car plant up in Detroit, Michigan, and have a decent sized home, 2 kids and a dog and wife, and be able to maintain all of those on one income and one salary. I understand that point, my G. However, here's where I think that the straw man is. The things that I mentioned before that modern men are expecting of modern or more traditional based women has not changed. It has not changed. There's not anything to say that she can't go out and make a fantastic living for herself, but she still has to give those other factors to be selected past the relationship, right? From dating into a relationship or from a relationship into marriage. Dudes have not changed from that perspective, right? There's not dudes walking around, mostly and in mass, that are saying, hey, I make less than you, you do most of the work, and I'm sitting on this couch all day, but I still expect not to do the task back at home. That, by and large, is not men in general. That's not men in general. Shit. It's just like...
Nah, I feel it.
Like this.
I'm getting tight too.
Why are you getting tight?
Nah, because he's saying some bullshit.
I mean, yes. I feel like his points just aren't congruent. Like, it's just all over the place. So I'm just confused.
He's not really making points. He's like pandering and trying to sprinkle in little bullshit.
Yeah.
Like his first goal isn't to make a cohesive argument.
Because I'm not getting it.
His first goal is to pander. And it's pretty obvious by the examples he's giving.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, so I would want to say that to address the women don't want to pay bills mentality. Listen, experiencing this quarantine, receiving stimulus, had me a lot more receptive to universal basic income, a lot more receptive to passive and residual income. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. So yeah, like, I don't want to have to work. I don't want to have to work and be dependent on income for survival. But I also don't want that stressor on my partner either. Like, I want both of us to just be able to live. And we have reached a point in evolution within humanity that we have enough machinery to be able to make that happen. But we live in a capitalistic society, so there's that. But anyways, like, yeah, and that's why we're trying to build It's a Real Podcast, our YouTube channel, because we both want the passive and residual income. We want to be able to make money without actively having to do stuff. And the more digital real estate we have, the more possibility that is, as well as our books, as well as courses and things like that. Like, so it's not having to work every day and consistently be doing something. It's stuff is making money without us doing stuff, as well as investing and whatnot. So yeah, like, does anybody want to have to survive by consistently never having a break and always having to work? Like, does anybody want that? Do men want that? Like, I enjoy working when I don't have to, you know, just because I enjoy it. I enjoy doing it. It's like when you're struggling to survive, like, yes, I would like less stress. Thank you. So this whole concept of women want this, I'm like, men, y'all don't want that too? Like, I get having stability. I get being able to spend when you want and be able to take care of the things you do. I get that. But again, when you have to do it for survival, it's just a different mentality around it. And I don't want that stressor on my partner either, especially taking care of me and the family. Like, nah, I want us both to be chilling. Like,